Hello guys, Yusaku here, and today we're going to be talking about some Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains episode 18 and 19 summaries. Now these are more like those teaser types of summaries that are only about a sentence long each, rather than the actual paragraph types of ones we get closer to the episodes. But anyway, they do have a lot of really interesting information, so let's jump right into it. So episode 18 is going to be titled The Scars of the Soul, and it says, driven by his desire for revenge, Playmaker decides to settle his score with a duel, shrugging off Akira's attempts to stop him. Then we get to the episode 19 title, The Incident Buried in the Darkness, and it reads, as the fierce battle rages on, Akira starts talking about the incident 10 years ago. At last, Yusaku's past is finally revealed. Now, other than the incredible hype train that is, we're going to be told everything that happened 10 years ago, or at least a good chunk of it, because, we've been waiting for this basically since the beginning of the show. We've been getting hints and hints and hints at, oh, well, this is where he was, and this is what happened, and we've gotten all kinds of awesome fan theories, and it's led to all kinds of discussion, and now we're going to get our answer somewhere around episode 19, or at least some more answers, so that's really exciting. But what immediately stands out to me about this is with our episode 17 summary, it basically says that Yusaku and Aoi are able to get past these AI duelists that are giving them a hard time. Aoi's basically able to bail him out from the tough spot we found him in at the end of episode 16, but then a single character stands in his way. Now this came across as really vague initially, but based on the way these summaries are reading, I think it's almost indisputable that it's probably Akira standing in his way. We already know Akira and Emma are already within Vrains looking for the information themselves. And then Akira is mentioned in both of these summaries. It's saying, driven by his desire for revenge, Playmaker ignores Akira's attempts to try and stop their duel. So it sounds like Playmaker is seeking revenge on Akira, or at least on Soltech, and Akira is kind of acting as someone who's standing in his way, not so much on the other side, but he's blocking his path to revenge, which means we're going to get to see Akira duel most likely, which is going to be awesome. I didn't even know if he was going to ever duel in the show, to be honest. He kind of seemed more like one of those oversight type of people who's constantly present and taking place in the plot, but doesn't duel very much, if at all, similar to what Ushio often did in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. But it sounds like here, Playmaker's probably going to be dueling him. More evidence for that is, as the fierce battle rages on, Akira starts talking about the incident 10 years ago. So the way that's worded, it comes across to me as the fierce battle rages on between Yusaku and Akira. And why else would he suddenly start rambling about the information 10 years ago unless, they were in the middle of a duel? We've seen frequently, all the time in Yu-Gi-Oh! That significant parts of the stories are revealed by the villain and the main character during their duels, like during their banter, or just any characters during duels. During their banter, they will reveal significant parts of what's going on around them. It's a good way for them to keep the pacing of a show that's based around a card game flowing fairly well. And then, of course, we've got that fact that Yusaku's past is finally unveiled. Now, what does this really mean for Akira's character if he is indeed there? Well, I'm surprised that he's standing in the way. If anything, I feel like I had always felt like he was going to end up taking Playmaker's side, particularly after Playmaker had saved his younger sister. It seemed to me that Akira was the type who would at least be like, okay, I owe you one, I'll help you out. But it seems like the way it's coming across to me, and the way I've read Akira's character so far, is it very much comes across to me as Akira's stuck in the middle after he and Emma acquire this information, assuming they acquire it, and then basically he's like, Yusaku, you may not want to know this, you may not want to continue down this path. Now, one possibility is Akira's trying to protect Yusaku because he fears what's going to happen to him if he continues hunting soul technologies, because there's a big business with a lot of power, and the main area he'd be doing them is Link Vrains, which they themselves control. So this whole idea of fair play against them is highly unlikely, especially given the fact that we've already seen Kitamura try and do a 2-on-1 duel against Yusaku. So they're going to be doing basically anything if he's going after them, if it is indeed Soltech that he's after. We don't even know who he's after yet, so I'm rambling a bit here, but still. Yeah, he might be trying to protect Yusaku. It also might be that Akira finds himself after the incident 10 years ago being unsure of whose side to take. Could be one of those cases where maybe Akira sees some good in whoever it was that did what they did to Yusaku was doing. Most likely it was Soul Technologies, given how it seems the information is revealed within their data bank, but nothing's guaranteed at this point. So it's going to be interesting to see how that really plays out and whose side he's going to be on, what exactly his role is going to be, and more interestingly is going to be Aoi seemed to be taking Playmaker's side in episode 16. She was dueling alongside him, she was fighting alongside him, she was there to save him, and yeah, she said she wants to be the one to beat Playmaker, but that's just kind of a common thing for a friendly rivalry type of dialogue, if you ask me, and she was definitely there to assist him, I think. Now, it's also possible she just wanted to beat them and then set herself up to be in the situation to duel him herself, but that's not really the vibe I'm getting at this point, but it is still a possibility. With all that being the case, where is she going to fall if it ends up being, she chooses the side of Yusaku or she chooses the side of her brother? She cares a lot about her brother's opinion, but she also seems to have a lot of respect for Playmaker, and he was the one who saved her, and if Akira sees something good in what was done 10 years ago, but she doesn't, that's just going to be a whole other mess. What we're getting are a lot of deep, interesting, and intricate character relations here if all of this unfolds the way it seems to be going based off these little tidbits of summaries that we have. So with Aoi, Playmaker, and Akira covered, that leaves us with our other character who we know is within the databank right now, Emma. And while my theories about maybe her laying a trap for the other three within Soul Technology so they could capture the three people they're potentially after seems to be proven wrong by these summaries, it definitely leaves you to wonder, was she still maybe doing this to help Soul Technologies if Akira changes sides? Maybe she was leading him to certain information for him to see, but not all of it so that he would change his mind, or something along those lines. It's just, where is everybody going to fall? This seems like it's going to be a very determining factor in terms of dividing our heroes and seeing them kind of choose a definitive side. And then with all of that, then we get to the fact that what exactly is this information going to reveal and what's it going to do? Are we going to end up seeing Yusaku maybe take the sides of the Knights of Hanoi after he sees what happens? Maybe it's Soul who he ends up blaming, or maybe he continues his crusade against both of them. Does this information as it gets out find him trying to seek the help of someone like Revolver? I mean, if Revolver is indeed the true intended rival for Yusaku, we've never had a rival in Yu-Gi-Oh! Who hasn't had a change of heart to the right side. Eventually, though, some taking longer than others. And then we get to the point of most of the theories I've been spewing out so far are assuming that the person standing in his way is Akira, but what if it could be any number of other people? It could be somebody working for Soul Technologies, it could be Kitamura, it could be anybody, and then say Akira's just, talking to maybe Aoi and Emma in the background about what he found out during he and Emma's search, and maybe Soul's just not hunting him immediately because they see Playmaker as the bigger threat, or something like that. Our possibilities, as always with the show, are kind of wide open. There just seems to be a direction that they're implying at a little bit heavier, at least in my opinions. So these are some awesome summaries to see. It's definitely got me super hyped up for the next couple of episodes. So be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and subscribe to the channel. If not, constructive criticism is always welcome. And as usual, have an excellent day.